Well, Wanui, everybody. Okay. Well, I had not really intended to come on here, but this has been a really unusual week. So, welcome to everybody. I'd already planned on coming on anyways this week to go ahead and do an impromptu energy balancing session. I just did not know which day it would be. And interestingly enough, Monday, I had my hint to go ahead and do Tuesday shows on Monday. And so I know this is completely off my schedule. Normally, I'm not on here on a Wednesday, but we've had a couple of days. So, and of course, yesterday we have had an interesting time here on the West Coast of America. A little bit of a shakeup yesterday from the Kamchatka Peninsula, which of course set up a bit of a wave ripple across our ocean yesterday. So I thought in case anybody was flustered or needed energy healing, I know that there's quite a few other needs that people have right now. So I'm going to speak a little bit more into the energy balancing that I do. And as I know that this is completely unusual for everybody, I'm just going to go ahead and ease into this. So I'm going to say hello to anybody that comes through here. But basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to chat right quick. In case you are new to me, my name is Debbie Dement, and my Huna essence is Huna Kamaroha. But today I'm going to be focusing more on the energy balancing aspect that I do that I've been doing for quite some time. Hi, Bora Bora. How you doing? Lovely to see you. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Hope everything is nice and calm where you are. We're going to be focusing primarily today on the energy healing. And so I was trained back in 2003. You'll see the horses, of course. I was trained hands-on for shiatsu, massage for horse and rider. And over time, about 5 years into what I was doing hands-on, I played around with my heart horse and discovered that I could actually do the same as what I was doing hands-on, only I could remotely move things along on the meridians just with energy healing, which sounds like just like, but it's pretty cool. So instead of being limited now by time and space, which was what I was with the hands-on for the horses with the shiatsu, I was very limited to who I could reach in time. And what I found was, golly, where I'd reached with my stage was I didn't have enough hours in the day to reach everybody that I needed to do. And I also was driving like 5 hours one way just to treat a pony. And so for a while there, I was like, good heavens, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to end up needing something like a private airplane, which is completely impractical. So, of course, with moving it to the energy balancing and hands off, I basically do what I do, only energetically speaking, instead of hands on. And suddenly I could do an entire herd at a time. And obviously, you can reach anywhere around the world whenever you do the energy work instead. And so whenever I do my universal clearing, which is going to be the meridian clearing that we're going to hop on and do, I'm going to be cleaning and clearing everybody's meridians all at once. It is a universal clearing. And so all of your animal friends, any of the horses, dogs, cats, and of course humans, we're critters too. And so as I'm working through this, this will also clean and clear your meridians as we go. And so I'll be calling out different spaces in and around the body as we go through. That's primarily for those people that are sensitive to energy. You'll be able to feel me as I'm working. And then for those that don't actually feel me, don't worry about it. You do not have to feel anything. It's still going to work because your meridians, which are rivers of energy that flow in and around your body, they will be working and coming into resonance with what I'm putting out there. And so this will go ahead and clean and clear everything that's going to be on your meridians. You're good, thanks. Oh, that's wonderful. I'm so glad. Were you, Bora Bora, remind me, you're somewhere in the Pacific Ocean, aren't you? Just trying to get a feel for everybody here. Hopefully things were steady Eddie around where you are. I know where I am located. I'm located on the Oregon coast. And so originally our buoys were saying that we were supposed to get our tsunami last night around midnight. But what came in was actually 5 hours later. hot and steamy in the Northeast. Yeah, it's really unusually warm here too on the Oregon coast. When the tsunami came in, it brought in a lot of hot air, a lot of muggy air that we're not really used to. Usually we get nice and cool air from our coast. But, our tsunami that came up the coast, I'm not flippant about it. We still got a half a foot, which means that you should not go anywhere near the ocean, at least for a few days. There's still some pretty wicked looking riptides out there. And of course, the wildlife, the all of our shellfish and everything, it's going to be really unsettled for a few days. It was quite a big shakeout for the ocean. So if Wawa nui huna hamani sa wawa. Today is going to be more of a focus on my energy healing. So right now I'm going to work around the back of the skull, the base of the neck. And I'm sure that we'll be working in some of the other stuff. Oh, yeah, Bora Bora. I thought you were in the same Pacific Ocean area, so you knew that too. Yeah, there was a tsunami warning last night. For anybody out of the loop, Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia had originally it was called an 8.7, but I think that they've corrected it to an 8.8. They do have a lot of volcanic activity that is on the peninsula itself. So it was a bit of a surprise, but yeah, it had a pretty strong earthquake, and I'm told that overnight the volcano itself went ahead and had some magma flowing from it. So that was a great release. Japan, from what I've heard tell, they went through it and they had a few injuries, but and one unfortunate passing over. But for the most part, it was not as severe as it had been in 2011 for them. And mostly it's a matter of when something shakes out on the Pacific Rim, it's a matter of looking at a billiards table. And so you just kind of look at the earthquake and then you try to project where that's going to come and shoot across. If you're in the United States, we actually have an amazing buoy system that runs out from our coast. And so what will happen is those buoy markers are huge, and they will rise and fall and give us an early warning system of how high and where it's tracking. So with the Oregon coast, it actually landed down at the California border and then rippled back up through. Sure. So yeah, yesterday it was Japan that had the tsunami first, because of course they were closer to the Russian peninsula of Kamchatka, and then it went to Hawaii, and then we went to California, and then it tracked up the Californian coast. So for the moment, I'm actually working in and around the neck itself, releasing off some of the congestion. Mostly somebody's got some really, it's the neck that feels kind of crunchy and sensitive. So, and I have to say, they've been keyed up for a while on the Oregon coast. It's all over the top tsunami stuff. So it looked like their systems worked. And hopefully my internet will hold for me, because it's been a very interesting time of it, I guess you could say. Okay, so for now I'm on the tops of the shoulders, and if you have anything that's pain-wise or you're releasing emotionally, upset tummies and things like this is what this is for. This is all energy balancing that will go ahead and ease off anything that you may have, any congestions. And congestion is simply stagnant energy that is along the meridians themselves. Sometimes they can get pinched off. And of course, whenever it happens, then it's going to be a much freeing up of the energy. And of course, your body then will have releases a lot of times from the pain responses. Bora Bora's not on YouTube land much lately. I really wasn't even on the internet at the time. My hubby came in and he's like, "Did you see?" So it's like, oh. So I hopped over and I look, like I said, tsunami.gov is my go-to for that. They track the earthquakes, but they also track our tsunami buoys. For now, I'm under the left shoulder blade and the left shoulder itself. And if you don't have any boo-boos or anything like that, no worries. This is actually just some really nice soothing energy as we go through here. I did a pretty intensive one on Monday, but I thought, well, I know there's some people out there that could probably use a little more. Okay, and we're on the left shoulder. Oh dear, I was so worried about my family in California. From what I understood, most of us on the West Coast didn't receive very much. I think it was similar to what we were going to receive for our winter storms, although that doesn't help whenever you're waiting for it to track across. Um, I think in California it only landed at maybe a foot and a half, which it honestly isn't worse than whenever we have our winter storms out here. I'm sure with Hawaii and Japan being closer to the peninsula, they probably had a little more of a wild ride. But yeah, I can absolutely understand. My concern, I think, with California also, we were looking at the Oregon coast, is that it was, of course, there was another earthquake that also happened at the same time in Fiji Islands that was reasonably strong as well. So it was a matter of seeing which wave was going to come across and where exactly. So down around the left elbow now. And hopefully your family's had a chance to check in. Hi, Leah. How are you doing? So you've got a sister-in-law on the West Coast. Hopefully she's already checked in for you. As I was telling the others, I'm just in here doing some energy balancing today. That was what I felt called to do. And yeah, of course, on every coast, everywhere. I didn't hear about anything happening in Hawaii itself. As I said, that there was, interestingly enough, there was a lady that I was listening to in Japan, and she said that they had only lost one human. And it was to a car accident. But she said, interestingly, that they had far more problems with heat strokes. So they were treating people for heat strokes over there in Japan. She said previous to that happening, it was 40 degrees C temperatures. But, well, at the moment, I'm on the outer forearm of the left-hand side. So the elbow and the outer forearm headed down towards the wrist. And yeah, it does take time if you're in a panic state like that, absolutely. Thankfully, they had projections already last night, so I just kind of kicked back and took it in stride. And as I said, you don't want to be flippant about it, but you also don't, if you already know that one is coming in, avoid being on the beach for when they're landing, because they come in supremely fast, and you'll really want to leave the beach alone for a few days after it's happened. That way you avoid any of the aftershocks, and of course there's going to be things that wash up on the beach afterwards. On the left hand, in and around all of the hand and the palm. Just going to focus here a little bit. So this is a joint that usually gets affected by horses. My poor internet keeps cutting in and out. The headset's a little bit of a tricky for me to work with, but at least it seems to hold whenever my internet blinks in and out. So huzzah for that. Okay, and now we're tracking up the left hand and through the wrist. and through the inner forearm of the left arm. Hello. Wonderful, wonderful. Hello, Frankie Bird. Frankie Bird just hopped on in perfect timing. We're doing an energy healing session right now, so we're on the left-hand side. That'll be Frankie's left wing, coming up the inner elbow. Oh, so glad to see Frankie Bird. And you, of course, Tea Garden Chicken. Long time no see. Haven't been on in the afternoons in a really long time. Up into the left armpit. Okay, and now we're working underneath the left shoulder blade, rib cage on the left-hand side, and the spine. And the rib cage itself. Yeah, it's kind of sad. I think a lot of people have been. I almost want to say that most of the tsunami was. I think that we had a lot of practical things that were in place, but I think a lot of people were rattled just because of the overhype. I think they got more scared. That's not to say, like I said, it's important to pay attention and don't be flippant about it, but been radio silent for a while, but lurking everywhere. That's just it. I have quite a few people that can they can see me. I know they're out there. I can feel it, but at the same time, sometimes something's going on in their life, or they can't post, or they're busy. They're just listening in, and that is awesome. I really appreciate it. I love having people tune in and just check it out. Currently, I'm on the left-hand side. We're still working through the left side of the spine. We have 3 main channels of acupuncture meridians that will run down this section: liver, bladder meridian, gallbladder meridian. And it can, of course, be very challenging this time of year. In between the hip and the lowest rib cage right now. Or just grumpy. Yeah, I hear ya. Sometimes with the heat, it can really make for some short tempers. Okay, now we're working on where the spine meets the back, meets the pelvis and the hip bones, going over the croup. Sorry, just some wagging tail puppies. This tends to be a little bit of a wear and tear section for our pets, humans too. There we go. And I apologize for the blinking in and out. I'm just doing the best I can with the internet quality that I have. Our internet quality has been very spastic the last week, maybe 10 days. So at least with the headset, you get to hear me. Okay, now we're on the left hip. Going through all the itty bitty spaces. There are a lot of little teeny tiny muscles to help keep us upright and to make all the connections from the hind limb in this region. Beautiful. Hi, Amanda Carol. Oh, just listening while I work in my kitchen. How beautiful. Now we're going down the left outer leg, so the left outer thigh. headed from the hip down towards the left knee, the outer knee. And now the left knee itself, which is really tender for somebody. Goodness, goodness. I don't know whose this is, but boy, somebody's left knee is just really taking a walloping. And sometimes this can happen for our pets, dogs that do a lot of jumping up and down on furniture. Medium-sized dog. I'm seeing somebody's West Highland White Terrier apparently is having a little bit of trouble with that left stifle. So we'll just add some extra TLC to that. There we go. Great. Now we're going to track down the outer left calf, headed for the ankle. Your left knee hurt. Well, hopefully we've added a little bit of energy healing and we're just going to get that to ease up for you. Jane Donaldson. Huna Hamanisa. Down the left ankle. And now we're going for the heel. Well, this is on the left foot. Sole of the foot. Down towards the ball of the foot. The toes. And off into Mother Earth. Let's do those ting points. There we go. Now we're going to come back up the left foot, up through the arch, bathing the ball of the foot, and of course all of the toes. A little achy in there today. And it's not just the people. Some of the people have some really stiff toes and some achy toes, but there's also a horse that has a really achy left fetlock in the back. So we'll just give that some support. I think that's an age thing more than anything. Up through the left ankle. So that'll be the inner hock on our critter friends. Beautiful. Now we're going to go up the left inner calf. Up the left knee. We're on the inside of the knee. Oops. We're going to do that spleen point below the knee. Sometimes that can be a little challenging with our diets, especially this time of year. We lean a lot heavier into fruits this time of year, and sometimes that can be a little bit of a challenge to the spleen. That feels better. Okay, and we're going to go back into the left knee, behind the left knee, and up the left thigh. There we go, into the pelvis. Now we're going to go back up to the right-hand side where the neck and the right side join. I know usually I track through both sides, but I thought today it would be more important to do it a little more formally. Hi, Lori Hunsinger. How you doing? I felt called. Earlier this week, I had my intuition prompt me to do my shows on Monday, and today it prompted me to hop in here. So, huzzah. Here we go. So for now, we're on the right-hand side. I'm doing energy healing for everybody. So we're balancing meridians. I've already done the left side. We're going through the right side. Don't worry if you've just joined in or you've just tuned in. It's not going to harm anything by having a quote part of it working. You can always go back and listen to the replay. And this will also still bring everything back into balance no matter what. Top of the right hand shoulder. The right shoulder. We're on top of the shoulder blade. Lori Hunsinger, the support for that particular problem is you can use iodine, but zinc. Make sure that you've got zinc in place because mechanically speaking, it'll come dashing in and it will snatch the iron out of your blood cells at that juncture point in your lungs. So if you have zinc present, they'll snatch up the extra zinc instead of your iron in your blood cells. So your right shoulder. Oh, great. Perfect timing. Yeah, I'll be sure to do extra energy on your right side of your sinuses for you. Mechanically speaking, sometimes that saline solution will help too. There's a nasal spray, like I think it's called X Clear, but really any of the saline solutions for the nasal sprays can help. Yeah, I agree. To get that stuff just sneezed right on out of you. Oh, that reminds me too. Laura Hensinger, vitamin D3 is also a huge boost for that one. Perfect, perfect. So we're on the interior of the right shoulder blade. And the top of the rib cage. And if everybody doesn't mind, I'm just going to pause here on the shoulder and just go up into the sinus cavities right quick for Lauren or Lori. See if we can just get that power washed out for you right quick with some energy healing. You may sneeze. Anybody that's listening in, you may sneeze or cough because there's going to be quite a bit of energy just flushing through here for a second. Quinine was the other one. That's a real key factor for preventing that and for making everything go faster as well. And sleep, of course. Sleep just as much as you can. But if you usually take a particular amount of vitamin D3 throughout the day, I would suggest doubling it. And you may even want to double up your zinc in the true presence of that because, as I said, there's specific actions that that thing takes, and those will definitely help. And in a pinch, if somebody's out there, because I'm hearing I don't have zinc, you can use iodine also in a pinch. It's a mechanical thing that it does. Okay, and we're on the throat itself. Just going to give it an extra boost here for these structures. There we go. In and around the tongue. There we go. Z is for that C virus that Lori is being challenged with right now. And I'm not going to say it on YouTube. But that's specifically what it's for. As I was saying, it's what's called an ionophore. And so what happens is the mechanism of that particular stink bug gets into your lungs, and at the point where your lungs are doing the exchange, if you don't have zinc present, it will snatch the iron out of your blood cells in the lining of the lungs. It's just what it does. So if you take the zinc and the vitamin D3, it will latch onto the zinc instead of your blood cells, the iron in your blood cells. Oh, you're so welcome. You're very welcome. Mm. Yeah, I remember that. We had that too. It waved down here too. Yeah. And it was the same time frame. There was a Columbus Day storm that also hit. But that was a winter storm. That was in October of 1968 that did some damage. But yeah, that big one from Alaska that had come down through, that did a lot of damage. Did you guys get the tsunami? Did it come across the Gulf of Alaska for you guys? Because like us here in Oregon, it actually landed down in California and then rippled back up the coastline for us. I'm on the right shoulder on the ball joint itself of the shoulder. Yeah, I kept looking for it to track down from Canada for us here in Seaside, but that's not the way that it went. The last time we had a tsunami zip up, I want to say that was 2015. It was the same thing. It had come up from the California border. On the outer right arm, ooh, somebody's elbow is an ouchin. If you need, you can lay your hands palm up in your lap to try to get some of that pressure off of your elbow. Wiped out my town, and of course, I'm on an ocean-fed river road, though you're up on a hilltop. Hmm. You're about 2 to 3 miles from the ocean as the crow flies from where we are, and we have a river that is in front of our home. But as I said, it's oh no, I hope my internet holds. There we go. Now we're back. Um, but yeah, it for us it was no different than if it had been a winter storm. We got really lucky. Oh baby. Yeah, if you take your palm up, and then just lay them gently in your lap, you may find that that will take pressure off of that for you. One of the things that you can do too, if you've got something like tennis elbow, and I don't know who this is that I'm reaching out to, but if you've got like tennis elbow, because I used to have this problem whenever I was dog grooming, way long time ago. But if you stand what's called pigeon toe, and that means with your toes together, but your heels apart, and see if that will take some of the pressure off of your shoulder, elbow, and wrist. I know you can't stand that way forever, but um, it can at least take some of the excruciating pain and the pressure off of it. At the moment, we're going down the outer right forearm. And again, if you've got any of your pets, kitty cats, Frankie Bird, any horses, any of your family members nearby, everybody's getting their meridians worked on at the same time. At the right wrist, outer hand, all around the fingers, thumb, Frankie Bird, this will be your right wing, of course. Currents and electricity last night more persistent than ever felt. There was a lot of things happening last night. But I set my intentions that no, go away. We're all good here. Let's just keep it nice and mellow. And we're coming up through the right palm, wrists. I'm sure there's more behind the scenes, but as I said, the timeline I want to be on, everything remains intact. Mother Earth is doing everything naturally and beautifully and nice and gentle. I mean, after all, there was a really nice magma release from the volcano that's on the Kamchatka Peninsula right after that happened. So go team, go Mother Earth. Oh, Frankie, already vibing with the energy. You're so welcome, Frankie Bird. It's lovely to see you again. We're on the right elbow, the inner elbow. It's a lot when a cockatoo goes quiet. That means they're a happy bunny. Feels good, doesn't it? Yeah, so loved. You're such a good boy. Up the inner right arm and into the armpit. Yeah, that's just it. And I've been requesting and working with Mother Earth for this. Right rib cage. Now we're going underneath the right shoulder blade. The silence is nice, but it can be suspicious. They're just like a 2-year-old. It's like, wait a minute, wait, why are you so quiet? Unless they're specifically laying down for a nap right in front of you. Oh, yeah, the silence could definitely be scary. What are you dismantling exactly? The spine in between the shoulder blades. And now we're going to go down. Yeah. Now we're going to go down the right hand side of the spine, mirroring what we did on the left hand side. Yeah, I used to. I've hand fed everything from a macaw through a fence. So with the macaws and the cockatoos and some of the larger birds, it's like, oh, they are very much like having a toddler. Oh, that feels very good. You're welcome. And a nice shakeout from a dog and a horse stretched out. That was great, guys. And yeah, for the shakeouts and everything that's been happening, I've just been trying to ride the timeline with the easiest, gentlest releases. Now, Mother Earth, of course, is going to be doing things, like genius like you toddlers. Got that right. But of course, there are natural volcanoes that are releasing in and around planet Earth. So, hooray for that. As long as they continue, I'm happy with this. And between the right rib cage and the right hip, yeah, kind of like kids. We used to make toys out of like the cardboard from the inside of toilet paper rolls, and then we take the toilet paper, or not the toilet paper, but the paper towels, and wrap them up. We'd wrap up different things like peanuts and things inside of them, and then put them in knots, and then hand it over to the birds because they just love to shred them, and of course get goodies from it. Pieces of papaya and pepper were really big too. They love to find those inside the paper towel. Oh, that was a good release. Okay, we're on the right-hand side, the hip with the croup. So it'll be the back side of the pelvis for humans, croup for the horses, dogs, kitty cats, Frankie birds. Get that tail. Beautiful. Yeah, it was cheap, you know, it was really easy, and, they of course, the paper towels are super safe, so it made a really good alternative for them. And we used to take scissors and just cut holes in the cardboard tubes from the interior of the paper towel rolls and then just thread things through it. And like I said, the papaya, the red peppers, and of course the peanuts and the different nuts. We just roll those up inside those paper towels and then knot them up. And it gave them something that they could easily destroy that was completely safe. You know, most of the time you're running around going, please leave the woodwork intact. And at least with it being paper and paper towel to the tubes, it didn't teach the birds to gnaw on anything that was inappropriate. We're on the right hip. Okay, and now we're going down the right outer thigh and into the right knee. Again, this will be the stifle for the horses, dogs, kitty cats, birds. Actually, it'll be still a knee on a bird, but that's nice. It's not nearly as stressed out on this side as it is on the left side. And sometimes you'll find that, you know, you'll see one side of the body is slightly weaker than the other side. And so there's compensation that happens. Okay, now we're tracking down the right outer calf, headed for the right ankle, right heel. And what we're doing, we're just clearing off gunky, stagnant energy. We're getting the meridians flowing again. Hi, Crystal Ascension. How you doing today? Doing some energy balancing today. Down through the sole of the foot, the heel. And now the ball of the right foot. And then all of the toes. Yeah, this side feels a lot better. Now we're going to do ting points and just see all that gunky junk going into Mother Earth. Well, thank you so much, Missy. Lovely to see the crystal ascension. And now we're going to come up the right side of the foot, up through the inner arch, the inner ankle, just let that energy rise up from Mother Earth. There we go, that's better. Now we're going to go up the right calf, inner calf. We're going to get the ting points that's just underneath the knee, the right knee, up the right inner thigh, and into the lap. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and work on the abdomen right quick. Sometimes this can lead to tummy gurgles, passing wind, burps can happen. We're going to be balancing just the triple heater meridian, but also all of the spaces that are in and around the organs, and of course the organs themselves. Let's just get that pattern going correctly here. Beautiful. That was beautiful. Okay, now we're going to come up and do a little more TLC through the lung space, heart space. Okay, we're going to do a little bit more on the throat, tongue, root of the tongue, eustachian tubes, inner ear, base of the skull, up into the hypothalamus, hippocampus, through the pineal gland, pituitary, easing through the optic nerves because somebody's optic nerves are not a very happy camper today. So let's just get that nice and relaxed. Swelling tissues are going to go down. And we're going to go all the way from the back side of the eyes, through the eyes themselves, in and around. Cooling, calming the lenses. Great. Now we're going to do the tear ducts on both sides. So if this makes you sneeze, sometimes it can make your nose dribble a little bit too. It feels a little dry and gritty in some places. There we go. That's better. Now we're going to do the forehead, top of the skull, teeth. Beautiful. Good strong teeth, good strong roots, beautiful gums, in and around the tongue and the sinuses, jawbone, back down through the throat structure again. We're going to place on the high heart. Beautiful. Okay. Okay, everybody. That's your energy all nice and balanced for you. And don't worry, if you're listening in and you've fallen asleep, don't beat yourself up. Just come back. You can always listen to the replay. A lot of times our brains will be taken offline in order for the energy to do its job. It needs to be balanced. Sometimes that means that we have to take our thinking brains offline so it can get out of the way so that our bodies can go ahead and rebalance themselves. So you didn't do anything wrong. And if you've done any sneezing, coughing, yawning, passing wind, one of the unusual ones too can be where your like a limb stretches out. Be sure to get yourself a drink of water. And it's not really crying, but sometimes you can have like a cry response where you have tears that are running. That's another response that'll happen. But yeah, if you can, just get yourself a drink of water. The reason why is because you've actually had a physical reaction to this. And so we've had toxins dump into the blood that's been lodged in your body. And so just getting yourself a drink of water, nothing else, just water. And it doesn't have to be a huge quantity. You can do size of a coffee cup, so 4 to 6 ounces will help to flush that right on out. And there we go. Beautiful. Okay, everybody. So if you would like, you can hop in with anything else that you might want a little extra TLC on. Any place that might need a little more extra energy applied to it. Probably put everybody to sleep, didn't I? I do this a lot. Hmm. You are so welcome, Tea Garden Chicken. Really appreciate you coming and hanging out with me today. Really happy to see Frankie Bird again. And of course, all your other critters. Can we all make a solid intention? Absolutely. Fill in whatever space you would like. You've got a lot of balanced energy right now. So that will absolutely amplify whatever intent that you have. Yes, please. We'll have a calm and peaceful mind. Most benevolent outcome. And of course, with Mother Nature, we've been asking that she stay nice and calm through all of this. Left eye. Okay, sure. Let me just send a little bit more to you, Crystal Ascension. I'm actually going to do both eyes for you. It helps sometimes with the balancing. We're going to do the right side of the brain as well. Oh, beautiful. Well, thank you for stopping by, Amanda Carroll. I'm going to have to take something for this shoulder. Sure. My mid upper back gets me this time of day. Gonna walk through the rest of the day. Cool. We go walk, Jack. Beautiful. There we go. Okay. So we're gonna scoochie forward to the slides, and we are in one of our Ma'ita Crystal Light of Days. You are so welcome, Amanda Carroll. Absolutely. You're welcome, welcome, welcome. And so Ma'ita is one of the Crystal Light of Days. So we have in the Lemurian calendar any of the days of the month that are the 29th, 30th, and 31st. You're so welcome. It's called Ma'ita. And so we have the symbol, of course, is the crystals. And the the essence is the undistorted light from the central sun. So this is a perfect day to actually work with this, especially with the energy healing. Gonna go lay down. That sounds like a really good idea, Gray. And especially if you had a scare last night, or you were afraid for family members, or for the West Coast, or Japan or Hawaii, do take time to unwind. Allow yourself to relax and let down, because you've had a pretty terrible fright. So give yourself a chance to just detox and relax. Know that you're safe. Let it all out. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. You have a good evening. Beautiful. Still just doing a little bit of energy healing on everybody. So if you're sensitive to the energy, you may feel me doing a rocking sensation around the body. It feels like it needs to be balanced not just with the meridians today, but from the left and the right side of the brain and the left and the right side of the body. So we're just going to do a gentle rocking sensation back and forth. And sometimes that's enough to get a nice, easy release, and you can start breathing even deeper than what you had before. There you go. That feels better. Beautiful. Take a quick look through my slides right quick to see what we got. Oh, yeah, here we go. That's nice. I thought I had another one. So, yes, we can be at peace and we can relax. Do some nice balancing there. I can certainly lean into relaxing and being supported also by our elemental friends. So that'll be the spirits of the trees and the forests, and of course our unicorn friends. Same with any of our mythical friends. So the fairies, the pixies, the gnomes, dragons, of course. Okay. So I'm just going to let the floor stay open here for a few if anybody has any questions. And of course, if you've drifted off to sleep, enjoy your nap. Mostly came on here to try to calm everything down, but also just impromptu was prompted to do more of the energy healing, more of the meridian balancing today for us and our furry animal friends and our feathered animal friends. And of course, last night we had the tsunami event that happened. But thankfully, even though the earthquake itself was quite strong, it was nice to see that the tsunamis dissipated reasonably well, and so we weren't as impacted as what was originally feared. Ha ha ha! Love that idea. I love shrinking to their size and then going and playing so we can play and toss fairy dust. Yeah, they can go very, very small. Very tiny. And we can open this up to any kind of discussions if you have any questions about any of the Lemurian languaging or any of the questions about the unicorns or anything else. Quite open to different discussions. I think I just put everybody to sleep. I tend to do this a lot. Okay, so if you guys actually have any trouble with like insomnia, duly noted, you can come back to this thing tonight and put it on low, and it will probably drift you off to sleep reasonably fast. Well, I know that, throughout the day, we do tend to get pretty agitated sometimes, especially if we've been on social media too much or have been listening to the different narratives from around the world. It can be very stressy. And so this is just a nice, peaceful way to unwind. It's also a great thing to do for your own meridians and your energy system. And again, it offloads your energy system. It'll calm down the vagus nerve so that you can go into a rest and relaxation mode. Because while I think that we do need to continue doing due diligence, of course, pay attention to what's going on around you. I think that currently in the world that there's a little bit too much clickbait, a little too much over the top scaring people. That's just not necessary in this day and age. Much love to you too, Crystal Ascension. Wawa. Wawa Nui. For anybody that's new to me, Wa is the Lemurian first principle of first love, and Wawa means much love. Wawa Nui means much love to everyone. And of course, I mean, it was going to be a bit of a roller coaster as we came to the end of, to use Gregorian languaging, as we come to the end of Capricorn, the age of Capricorn, and as we're easing into the age of Aquarius. Uh, in the Lemurian astrology, we say that we are entering Lemurian 5, and so it's a bit of a big turmoil as we go from one system to another. Yes, wah, much love. So I'm continuing to set out my own intention that things will go nice and gently and smoothly, because it's not just the people that I'm here for. I'm here primarily for the animals. And so there's always this thing of I want to make sure that it goes as gently as I can and as peacefully as possible, so that everybody is going along for the journey and that we can all make the journey together as safely as possible. Because it is a period of stronger light that we're headed towards. So it's part of why the earthquakes keep happening or the volcanoes keep acting up around the world. We are, and Mother Earth is coming into a higher ascended energy system. And so as she's growing, of course, we're reacting to it as well. And this helps, the energy balancing especially helps with our nervous systems as we're going forward, so that we can adapt to the stronger energy that's coming in. Thank you so much, Bora Bora. I hope you're taking good care of yourself. And that's just it too. Sometimes as caretakers, all of us tend to reach out and we try to caretake everybody else. This is a really good piece for self-love and self-support. Sometimes we're always so busy worried about everybody else that we neglect our own bodies and we neglect ourselves. So fill your cup up first. And if that means coming and hanging out with the unicorns, perfect. because the world won't stop if you just take time out to sit and relax and pamper yourself. Okay, my beautiful souls, but I'm going to go ahead and wind this one down. And I hope that everybody on here has had a beautiful time. I hope you've really enjoyed this. And at the moment, the next session that I have scheduled will be the shows for next Tuesday. Not on with an interview with anybody, but if that changes, I will certainly come on and update you. And knock on wood, so far with the tsunami on the west coast, where I live on the Oregon coast, our tsunami, our tidal wave, or whatever you want to call it, it it only was a half a foot for us here in Seaside, Oregon. So it was a-okay as far as that big scare goes, because that was quite an impressive earthquake that happened yesterday for the Kamchatka Peninsula, of course. And I'm grateful that all of you could come and join and hang out. And I'm grateful that I was able to help you all with your meridian balancing and everything. And I hope you have a peaceful rest of your day. Take a nice deep breath and then just realize it's going to be okay. You're all right, honestly. Okay, everybody, much love to you, and I will see you later. Bye. Wawa.